5 WWE matches were planned for WrestleMania 42, and none of them survived long enough to make the card. Some collapsed under the weight of injuries, others got scrapped when creative plans shifted overnight, and a few disappeared so quietly that most fans never even knew they existed. WrestleMania 42 runs April 18th and 19th, 2026, at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, across 2 nights, and the card that's actually going to happen looks almost nothing like what WWE had mapped out 6 months ago. Here's how it all fell apart. Match 1. Seth Rollins vs. Roman Reigns. On paper, this one looked bulletproof. Seth Rollins vs. Roman Reigns, one-on-one for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania, the first singles match between 2 former Shield brothers on wrestling's biggest stage. Rollins had just cashed in Money in the Bank on CM Punk at SummerSlam 2025 to win the title. Reigns was positioned as his challenger, and the setup built directly off their Night 1 3-way main event with Punk at WrestleMania 41 the year before. Everything pointed toward Las Vegas. Crown Jewel in October 2025 ended all of it. Rollins faced Cody Rhodes in a champion versus champion match, delivered a diving headbutt with Rhodes hanging upside down in the corner, and tore his rotator cuff. Surgery followed, and on October 20th, during Raw in Sacramento, Adam Pearce stripped Rollins of the World Heavyweight Championship entirely. What made the situation interesting was how WWE covered for the real injury on television. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed attacked Rollins on the October 13th Raw, giving the writers a clean kayfabe explanation while Rollins went under the knife, and simultaneously setting up what everyone assumed would be a revenge storyline. Rollins did return at the Elimination Chamber on March 1, 2026, unmasking as the hooded figure who had been attacking his own Vision stablemates, and reports indicate he's either cleared or close to it. None of that salvaged the Reigns match, though. Reigns won the Royal Rumble and chose CM Punk as his WrestleMania opponent instead, which means the dream singles match between 2 Shield brothers never got made. Match 2. Cody Rhodes vs. Roman Reigns, the trilogy. For most of late 2025, the WrestleMania 42 main event seemed obvious. Rhodes vs. Reigns, one more time, for the undisputed WWE Championship, the trilogy closer that would have bookended a story starting at WrestleMania 39, where Reigns won, and WrestleMania 40, where Rhodes finally finished the story. That changed in mid-January 2026, when Drew McIntyre defeated Rhodes on SmackDown to capture the undisputed championship, and the moment that decision landed, the Rhodes-Reigns plan went with it. Dave Meltzer reported on Wrestling Observer Radio that once McIntyre won the title, a third WrestleMania match between Rhodes and Reigns was essentially dead. The creative team wanted something unexpected, and McIntyre was their answer. Behind that decision sat a deliberate philosophy. Triple H's team believed putting Rhodes vs. Reigns on back-to-back WrestleManias risked burning out the audience on a match they'd already seen twice. Self-made pros backstage sources delivered the clearest summary. Rhodes vs. Reigns at WrestleMania is off. The match is not happening. They could not come to a creative situation that satisfied every single party involved. Rhodes won the title back from McIntyre before WrestleMania, and his April opponent became Randy Orton. Reigns got Punk. The trilogy remains unfinished, shelved somewhere between creative fatigue and circumstances nobody fully controls. Match 3. Rhodes vs. McIntyre, Hell in a Cell. This one never appeared on a single poster, but according to PW Insider, the internal pitch for the Undisputed Championship match at WrestleMania 42 was Drew McIntyre vs. Cody Rhodes inside Hell in a Cell, a steel structure, a heated rivalry, and a logical escalation for 2 men who had already beaten each other bloody across multiple pay-per-views. McIntyre winning the championship in January gave WWE the foundation to build toward exactly that. None of it survived Rhodes winning the title back before WrestleMania, and once that happened, the Hell in a Cell plan dissolved completely, replaced by Rhodes vs. Orton for the championship. Worth keeping in mind that this was a backstage pitch rather than a confirmed booking, never announced publicly, but it reveals something about how dramatically WWE's direction shifted inside a few weeks. 3 separate directions for the Undisputed Championship match in the span of a few months, moving from Reigns to McIntyre in a Cell to Orton, each one replacing the last. Match 4. Jade Cargill vs. Bianca Belair. Of everything on this list, the Cargill-Belair match might be the one that stings the most. According to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE's original direction for WrestleMania 42 had Jade Cargill defending WWE Women's Championship against Bianca Belair, with Belair internally scheduled to win either the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber to earn the shot. What gives that plan additional weight is this detail. The reason Cargill won the Women's Championship by defeating Tiffany Stratton in the first place was reported to set up that specific match with Belair. The booking worked backward from a WrestleMania moment that never arrived. Belair has been out of action since WrestleMania 41, where a broken knuckle during a 3-way with Rhea Ripley and Io Sky ended her night, and as it turned out, her year. Her only in-ring appearance following that injury came at WWE Evolution in July 2025, where she worked as a special guest referee. When November arrived and Belair appeared on BET's 106 in Sports, she described a recovery that had spiraled well past expectations. It's something that I thought was going to be a very straightforward 8 to 12 weeks. It's been almost 6 months at this point. Physical therapy began in mid-February 2026. Reports from early March confirmed Belair is expected to appear at WrestleMania 42, though whether that appearance involves a match or simply a presence on the show remains unclear. Rhea Ripley stepped into the vacancy after winning the Women's Elimination Chamber in Chicago, and Match 5. The triple threat that fell apart before it was confirmed. The 5th canceled match is both the most recent and the least certain, so the distinction between confirmed facts and credible reports matter here.
On March 9, 2026, Selfmade Pro reported that WWE had internally discussed a triple threat match for the Women's United States Championship at WrestleMania 42, featuring Julia, Jordina Grace, and Tiffany Stratton. The outlet itself acknowledged the report came from a single source and had not been verified elsewhere, which means it carries real weight as a rumor without crossing into confirmed booking territory. What nobody disputes is Jordina Grace's injury. During a WWE main event taping before the March 6 SmackDown, Grace landed awkwardly off the ropes in a match against Alba Fire, and the walking boot visible afterward told the story clearly enough. No return timeline has been confirmed. Grace, who signed a full-time WWE contract in late January 2025, following her 2024 Royal Rumble and NXT guest spots while still with TNA, would have made WrestleMania 42 a defining moment early in her main roster run. The likeliest replacement if the Women's US Championship match survives on the card at all is a singles match between Julia and Stratton. 5 matches, 5 plans that didn't survive the road to Las Vegas.